Ramaswamy, this presidential candidate, is also the writer of a paper called the Chimera Question, which argues with whether human animal hybrids should have human rights or not. So here on the Hooligans podcast, I have my own paper that I would like to present to the world. It's called the Benjamin Question. And I will argue on whether Benjamins should have human rights or not. As long as if they follow all the common laws of human society, they should have human rights, bro. Why not? Why should a pig person have more rights than a Benjamin? All right. No, but seriously, guys, we're gonna just do a little deep dive into this real quick. The Chimera Question is Ramaswamy's paper that he wrote in college, I believe, and was actually posted by the New York Times. Uh, Here's the freaking article right here. Check this out. Check out this despicable article, or I don't know, maybe you like this type of stuff. Check this out. I'm gonna have the shorty read this for us real quick. Get yourself some popcorn. Get yourself some whatever you like to let you be chilling, and we're gonna listen to the Chimera Question by Vivek Ramaswamy, and we're gonna decide if this guy is uh right in the head. Any second, huh? Check this out. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. All right, I gotta remember the shorty. She's sensitive, bruh. She gotta be gentle with the shorty. You gotta always refresh it right here. Boom. Chimera Question. I think it's just a long
Writers ranging from ancient Greek and Hindu poets to novelist Michael Crichton have all envisioned the fictional possibility of creating human-animal hybrids. The notion of chimeras was particularly horrifying to H. G. Wells, author of The Island of Dr. Moreau. But over the past 2 years, the subject has quietly made its way into scientific journals. Unbeknownst to most Americans, today the creation of human-animal chimeras represents a valuable experimental tool that could revolutionize science and medicine. However, the creation of these hybrid organisms also raises ethical questions. What rights should these organisms possess? Great Britain has already begun to take up the question. An official government report released last month backed the creation of human-animal hybrid embryos. Advertisement. Skip advertisement. One of the main forces driving research in this area is the widespread interest in human embryonic stem cells. In vitro experiments suggest that these cells can differentiate into any cell type in the body, but whether they would retain that potential if implanted in an actual human body is not yet clear. Answering this question could well require experiments that would require the destruction of a developing human being at a point beyond what is acceptable to most people. The creation of a human-animal embryonic chimera offers a potential solution. Instead of using a developing human blastocyst, scientists can instead transplant and subsequently observe the human embryonic stem cells in a developing animal blastocyst. Last year, Rockefeller University scientist Ali Brivanlou created an embryonic chimera by engrafting human embryonic stem cells into a mouse blastocyst and subsequently implanting the resultant embryo into a live mouse uterus. Experiments of this type offer the opportunity to study the human embryonic stem cells in a living system. This is just the beginning. The most revolutionary advances from research on human-animal chimeras are likely to emerge in neuroscience. Scientists at Stanford have already created a mouse with a brain partially composed of human cells. Further, they have publicly declared their intent to engineer a mouse whose brain would be entirely human. Editor's picks. The out-of-fashion film trick that makes the holdovers so affecting. Are low-fat dairy products really healthier? My kids look white. Does my Thai father make them Asian? Skip advertisement. Advertisement. Skip advertisement. From an ethical perspective, these human-mouse neural chimeras might seem benign when compared to recent scientific efforts to create monkeys with partly human brains. Researchers could perform useful experiments on these human-monkey hybrids, so-called human Zs, in ways that would avoid performing ethically objectionable brain experiments on live humans. Over time, these experiments could result in a quantum leap of discoveries on diseases ranging from Alzheimer's to Parkinson's. If the creation of these new organisms bothers us as a society, we must ask ourselves why. We cannot merely dismiss human-animal chimeras as unnatural, or else we would have just as easily dismissed recombinant DNA technology or any other scientific improvement upon nature. Nor can we merely accept that creating chimeras is ethical because of the potential medical advances. To do so begs the larger question of when ethical considerations should trump scientific inquiry. Instead, policymakers should use the following simple principle as a guide. One should treat a recipient of transferred humanity with the same level of respect as an organism with inborn humanity, in other words, a human being. Even if an organism does not appear to be human in biological terms, it nonetheless deserves the moral value of a human being as long as it possesses the qualities that our society has deemed worthy of human respect. Advertisement. Skip advertisement. There is no societal consensus on what qualities merit such respect. But nearly everyone agrees that the capacities for language, consciousness, or rationality are probably among them. If a human-animal chimera, such as a monkey with a human-like brain, comes to possess any of these qualities, then it would be morally objectionable to create that organism. Meanwhile, certain chimeras, such as a mouse with human skin grafts or human muscle cells, pose no serious ethical risk. In cases where there is a reasonable possibility of transferring quintessentially human capacities to a chimera, scientists must stop short of actually creating it. Unfortunately, the most scientifically useful experiments, namely, those involving embryonic stem cells or the human brain, are precisely the ones that should not be performed. Undoubtedly, the scientists who pursue research involving human-animal chimeras today do not intentionally seek to violate human dignity, but instead seek to affirm it by curing human diseases. Yet without a fuller and richer public debate on this issue, we as a society may blindly allow our scientists to perform experiments that demean the very human life we all so zealously seek to strengthen. Vivek Ramaswamy, a recent Harvard College graduate, studied the ethics of human-animal hybrids for his biology honors thesis. This article first appeared in the Boston Globe.
So there you have it, folks. His defense in this and why people aren't putting him in a jacket is because if we don't use human animal hybrids, then scientists are going to perform these operations on actual humans. And I'm considering like newborn babies, but why don't we just tell them, nah, don't do that? Like I think that's a great question. Like or a great that's a great resolve. Just say, hey, don't do weird experiments on newborn babies. Why is that such a hard thing to say? Why does it have to go from uh that to why don't we just perform these experiments on half human, half animals instead? But then that's the thing. I would love to have a conversation with this Ramaswamy fella. With this Ramaswamy fella. He's such an interesting character because and then he talks about giving them human rights if they're able to talk. Now he's like, it's like, so he went from, he totally switched up on us. And this is Ramaswamy's best talent is double talking. He said, we need to make these human animal hybrids because if we don't, the scientists are going to operate on children. But at the same time, he's saying, these human animal hybrids would probably eventually learn to talk, right? And walk, right? So now we should also give them human rights. So is he trying to dissect them or is he trying to grow them? I don't really understand. I do care to understand, but I don't have the time here on the Hooligans podcast, guys. We got about 30 minutes left here. And I know we're deep into the politics, but that's most important, guys. Politics is most important because if you don't if you're not involved in politics, then you're gonna get controlled by someone who is. And I know life is short, life's not forever, but I think what's interesting about politics, and this is not even really about Ramaswamy stuff anymore, but